Ukraine can't wait another 75 years to join NATO, says Chief Diplomat.
Here's a summary of the article.
Ukraine cannot wait another 75 years to celebrate its membership of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, the head of the Ministry for Foreign Affairs, Dmytro Kuleba, in an interview with CNN's Christiane Amanpour, Ukrinform reports. We will be entirely happy only when Ukraine becomes a member of NATO and the promise of this is fulfilled, Kuleba said. We heard very reassuring messages over the last days at all levels that the path to membership is irreversible, that Ukraine will be in NATO. But, we cannot wait another 75 years to celebrate Ukraine's accession. Kuleba added that Ukraine should become a NATO member, sooner rather than later, because it is the only way to ensure strategic security and stability in the Euro-Atlantic area. This is why we will keep working on ensuring speedy accession of Ukraine to NATO, said Kuleba. And the commitments which were made and the pledges which were made at NATO to deliver specific types of equipment, we are confident that they will be implemented. Correcting himself, Biden said, "We're gonna beat President Putin." President Zelensky responded with a handshake, saying, "I am better." Biden replied, "You are a hell of a lot better."
This post received a score of 4,300, with an upvote ratio of 95%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
They can't join with a disputed border in conflict, and even if Russia loses the war, they will always make sure the border is disputed in some way. This war is never going to end, even if Russia loses.
There are various levels of disputed. Remember that island that Canada and Denmark couldn't agree on, but the war was just either side visiting to enforce their claim, and leaving a bottle of liquor for the other side after their inevitable visit? I think once the actual war is done, it should be enough. Otherwise Russia can just say they claim parts of any country they don't want to join NATO.
Canada and Denmark are the founding members. The border dispute requirement is a relatively recent consideration, in 2008, and applies only to aspiring members.
2099 is an oddly specific year.
Guess that the word "another" in the title refers to the fact that NATO was created 75 years ago.
I doubt there will be NATO to join in 75 years, TBF. The humanity will be ruled by a mighty femputer, by then, probably.
Mommy bot, I'm thirsty.
We are doomed.
Always have been.
Well, I doubt Putin would live another 75 years. Let them use the weapons to hit them hard enough to make Russia go, whoa. Time out, ceasefire. Then we complete Ukraine's accession into NATO. Game over, we win. It's Saturday, let me fantasize.
Not to worry, King Donald will end the war in 24 hours or less.
You mean he will end NATO? Or Ukraine? Or the USA?
They sure do talk a lot about this. Either give it to them or stop talking lol. Take Hungary off and add Ukraine.
I'm just saying, if Russia's goal is to stop Ukraine from joining NATO as they've said a gazillion times, giving Ukraine a clear pathway to eventually join NATO is what's gonna stop them. While Ukraine is obviously not ready to join, NATO should do a lot more than, yeah, we'll see after the war's over.
Putler will be dead long before that time, so don't worry.
I 100% trust Russia when it comes to produces another sick-brain dictator even worse than Putin after his death.
Remember a couple of years ago when Ukraine was best buddies with Russia, that was the time to join NATO.
TBF, they overthrew their pro-Russian government
that they themselves elected just a couple of years before that. And do keep in mind that the approval rate for joining the EU and NATO was hardly above 50% before February 2022. In fact, in 2012 it was below 20% with the vast majority supporting neutrality. 2 years later, Crimea, Donetsk and Luhansk were annexed illegally, and even at that point Ukraine wasn't too eager on joining NATO.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.